Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today, and this is the Japanese Grand Prix round 17 of the season, and we're getting towards the closing stages and the title fight is getting close. If you guys missed the last episode at Russia, then go watch it by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of the screen to see how things got in that race before we jump into any spoilers. But like I mentioned, the title race is hotting up and Verstappen cut the deficit in the last race to us in the championship. We're still looking pretty comfortable, I believe 40 odd points clear, but we've got to be careful as the Red Bull and Racing Point look pretty quick at the moment. Having said that, we do have an upgrade of our own this weekend for the engine, and it's more specifically an engine power upgrade, a major upgrade on the engine, and we are going to extend our lead at the top and actually pull away slightly from Racing Point and also even more from Red Bull, who are struggling to match the pace that both ourselves and Racing Point are setting in the R&D development race. But we moved to practice and the car was fantastic around here. I love Japan. It's in my top two along with Spa, and I love racing here every single season regardless of, context and AI difficulty and whatnot. It's just a really fun track to drive as a driver, and this weekend was no different. We scored a purple score in every single session and we absolutely bossed it all the way through practice, and I felt relatively confident going to qualifying. I think, to be honest, we're probably third favourites based off of the practice pace around here. I think Racing Point and Red Bull definitely have the edge around here. We're lacking a bit of pace, both on the straights and also for the corners as well. There's that underlying understeer as Williams still has in a way, and also we are just lacking a bit of engine power, to be honest. So in that regard, I think if we can get behind those two teams, I'd be quite happy. If I could, get amongst them or split them, I'd be even more happy. But it's going to be a tricky session, and we're going to have to try and contend with a lot of shenanigans as always, with the potential of time glitches here and there with the time simulation in qualifying. So all things considered, we're going to jump into Q1 here, and we're going to hit the track. And on our first run, it was actually not that good, to be honest. It was on fresh tyres, and the car was working well, but for some reason, what I thought was going to be a quick enough but a safe lap was actually nowhere near good enough. You'll see here, 4 tenths down in the first sector, 9 tenths down in sector 2, and luckily for us I found some time in the final sector surprisingly, and we managed to get the gap down to I believe 7 tenths of a second, but ultimately it wasn't enough, and we're actually in the knockout zone, so the top 16 at least covered by 7 tenths. It's going to be one of them days and a very, very close qualifying as we now move into the end of Q1 and on to my best lap and my final run, and we have to improve because we're currently in the knockout zone.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us.
Indeed, as we now move on to our final run, then this is where it's at. We need to nail this lap because we're currently eliminated from qualifying, so it has to be a good lap, and straight away getting to work, making sure we nail sector 1, and we do a very good job of getting the S's nicely sorted out as we now go up towards Dunlop Curve. Love this corner so much, but it's also so technical because the back end always wants to slide away from you through there. But a good first sector to open up the lap as we now go in towards the Degners. Again, important to carry the momentum through here and not ruin the lap. We get a fantastic run and improve to even 3 tenths of a second as we now go up towards the hairpin, down to first gear if you want it, and then easy on that power. Important to not lock up on the entry and also have no wheel spin on the exit. Absolutely critical because this straight along here is so important, and you can lose so much time if you have a poor exit out of the hairpin as we now go up towards Spoon, down to 6th gear for the first one, and then down to 5th or 4th, depending on your preference, for the second apex, as we get a really good exit using all the curb on the right hand side if you need to, using some overtake mode as well to maximise your speed along the back straight, as you normally tend to have a bit of ERS to spare at the end of a hot lap around here. And this is looking like a much better lap as we're 4.5 tenths up and 5 tenths down on Gasly. This should be a better lap considering the final sector is where our strong point is, and we set a very strong final sector last lap as we take the ball out of the way with us. We're now going through the final corner and we're going to open up DRS and improve by 5.5 tenths, and only 1 tenth off Gasly there. The top 8 covered by a 10.5. Very close, but eventually others would improve elsewhere, and we would finish in 11th place and 6 tenths off the pace of Max Verstappen, who eventually was the man who was quickest, along with Perez right behind him, and those two in a class of their own so far this weekend as we move into Q2. And my first run was with used tyres. I used these at the end of my first run in Q1 to progress into Q2, and it kind of showed. It wasn't really a bad lap in the sense that there was mistakes. It just wasn't quick enough. It was kind of a weird one, and it just wasn't there, to be honest. 25.5, 7 tenths off what we did in Q1, so I now can do better, and the car can definitely go quicker than this. And I think with a fresh set of tyres, we should be able to match the lap in Q1. So let's give it our best shot and let's see what we can do. We're currently last in 15th, so we need to step up here, and this lap is critical. So here we go on the pit straight towards turn 1. The 50 metre board, you want to throw the car in and really make sure you focus on the second apex and keep it nice and tight. Don't run too wide, you will lose a lot of time. Then important to get a good exit as we now go up towards the S's. And again, this is all about car setup, having that confidence and that momentum to really throw the car in and let it do the work. And now you go on the exit through Dunlop here. Important to try and keep it flat if you can through this left-hander without the backhand slipping away from you, and then keep a nice tight line along this left-hander up towards Degner 1, throw the car in, full commitment, and then try and open up Degner 2 as much as you can. Take a lot more inside curb than I did there and use the banking to your favour as you now go up towards the hairpin, down towards first gear eventually on the brakes, try not to lock up, and also getting their wheel spin, and I absolutely nailed it there. Really nice clean run as we now go on the exit along this curved back straight and prepare ourselves for spoon curve. Double apex left, of course, turning in at the 50 metre board, 6th gear for the first one, and then down to 5th, and then down to 4th. Really focus on that exit, use all the curb on the right hand side if you need it. This time we do a much better job of maximising the track, and we now turn the engine up to overtake along the back straight here to really crank up and make sure we're competitive on the speed traps.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
And now currently 3 tenths down on Sergio Perez. Now going into the Casio triangle, down to 3rd gear, a little bit wide there. I like to take a lot more inside curb on that first right to really open up the left, but we still improve, and we're going to cross the line and improve by about 8 tenths of a second and jump up to the top 6. Half a second off Sergio Perez's pace, and that lap is going to be good enough to get us into Q3. And overall it was very close. If we look at the gaps there from Leclerc, Vettel, Bottas, Hamilton, Giovinazzi, myself, Gasly, it was all very close, and we just got in by less than a tenth, but the midfield is so close, and like I said, we're lacking a bit of pace. But overall we're going to move to Q3 here, and I only had one set of tyres left, and they were fresh, and there was these ones. So I'm going to leave you guys with the lap, no commentary for a change, and enjoy a lap around Suzuka. And there we have it. What a lap that was, and literally not one mistake in that, to be honest. And looking at the final results, we did what we could. Gasly managed to sneak in between us. I was hoping to get 5th place and finish behind Russell. But on paper, I think, when you look at the gap to Gasly, 12 thousandths of a second, you always think you can probably find that if you just ran a bit more engine mode or done something a little bit differently. But other than that, I'm quite happy. 3rd row, we out-qualified Giovinazzi, and it was my best lap of the weekend by 3 tenths. So we saved the best till last, and we only had one chance as well to produce that lap. So all things considered, I'm very happy. A very strong lap, probably one of my best laps of the entire season. But overall, the best we could have done in qualifying is P6. But we're now going to move into the race, and hopefully we could try and turn it around and get a podium and score some more points. But it is now time for the race for round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix.
We're live today from the Mie Prefecture of Japan as we look forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 2015 race here was one of only 5 Grand Prix in history to feature no retirements at all. Although with the highly competitive field we have today, I don't expect we'll be repeating that stat anytime soon. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about Martinez. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position with Kevin Magnussen alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Gasly, Martinez and Giovinazzi, Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas and Charles Leclerc, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty, and Ricciardo, Albon, Fiat, Lando Norris and Lance Stroll, Raikkonen and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix, starting from 5th place on the grid. We got promoted due to Sergio Perez's penalty, therefore we are going to start in 5th alongside Pierre Gasly there ahead of us. So there's a realistic chance we could at least get 4th place in this race at best, and we can try and push onto the podium, I think, maybe get George Russell as well. And I think the target minimum today is to get P3. I think maybe Magnussen as well, that could be achievable, but for me, personally, I'd settle for a podium, and we're going to see how the race goes. Max Verstappen starts from pole. He's the main candidate, he's the main rival in the championship, so we've got to try and beat him somehow, and hopefully the race pace is better than the qualifying one lap pace. In terms of the strategy though, we're going to start on the softs we qualified on in Q2, and the game says to go onto the hard tyres, but traditionally around here, I think you can stretch it to a medium, but if not, we'll just run the hards and play it safe. But overall, I'm looking forward to this race. I do love Suzuka, and I'd love to get at least the podium in this race. So let's jump into it, and let's see how we get on. It's time for round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. We're going to try and get a good start here as we build up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Good start. We match Gasly off the line. We lose a bit in the second phase. Giovinazzi looking for the inside of turn 1. We're going to hold it around the outside and stay in front of my teammate. My main concern here already is tyre overheating on the softs around this track. The fronts really get a bit of a battering, also the rears as well, so we're going to have to try and manage that. That's the first thing. Hopefully as we settle into the race and the fuel starts to burn off, we can start to push a bit more. But for now, the main concern is tyre overheating. Verstappen already establishing dominance in, already getting a gap out to Magnussen, who's in P2. We get very close to Gasly here. We've had a good exit through the Degner. We might have a chance on the Alfa Romeo driver. Down the inside, it's a late one. We have to go deep. We do make the move though. We almost hit the back of Russell, but that's the risk you take with these kind of overtakes. We made it work though. Bit of a lock up, but very nice overtake on Pierre Gasly there. Up to P4. So good start from us, being aggressive. Now let's see if we can keep pace with the front 3. I think Verstappen's going to be too quick here today. That's my prediction, but we'll try our best as we go into the back straight here. Let's try and keep up with Russell and Magnussen. I think at the minute, already looking at the pace, maybe second place could be achievable. So let's try and do that. Let's try and stay within a second for next lap when DRS is enabled. As lap 1 draws to a close, and overall a successful open up. Let's just make sure we get a good exit here. There we go, and we can stay in front of Gasly, which we do. Hopefully Giovinazzi can put some pressure on Gasly for P5. That'd be fantastic. But anyway, let's get a head down. Lap 2. Let's try and get closer to the cars in front. Verstappen's flying.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
Looks like the Red Bulls do have the edge around here. Russell is all over the back of Magnussen. So I think we've got the pace to get past the Racing Point, but I'm not convinced we've got the pace of Russell. I think if Russell passes Magnussen, we might not be able to follow him and keep up with him. I think he might disappear into the distance. So at the minute, let's just try and hold on and try and stay within 1 second. The AR seem to have a bit of pace at the moment. I'm kind of waiting for them to turn their engines down. They tend to run hot lap at the start, and then it kind of phases away a bit. They start to save battery. I'm kind of waiting for that phase so that I can start to use mine up a little bit more and push on. But it seems like already in this lap there's a bit of a difference. I can see Russell, his lights flashing, so he's charging his ERS, and you can visibly see how much closer we are now. So now's the time we need to use our battery and try and strike and get past the cars in front. Right, here we go then. DRS. Magnussen will be vulnerable. We're not close enough for a move just yet, but Russell might go for one here. Let's keep an eye on this. There you go. He's going to go down the inside. Oh, that's going to backfire massively. I'm going to have a look, but Russell just closes the door on me there, so we'll have to stay behind for now.
Green flag.
Something happened behind, it seems. Maybe there's contact in the turn 1. The AI are quite clumsy into the first corner when it comes to battling around here. Good exit there. We're actually pretty close to George Russell. I wonder if we can get a run maybe. If we keep it nice and tidy through Spoon, I might have a chance. But these two aren't my strongest corners compared to the AI. I'll try my best. Got to get the power down nice and early there. We do get some good traction. I think we might have to run on him here. He's not really close enough for a slipstream from Magnussen. I'm going to get the run on him. Here we go, through 130R. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to go to the left-hand side. Russell locks up. He runs a bit deep. We're going to go around the outside, though, all the way around the outside and pick up the position. There we go. And we get the DRS, so hopefully we can stay in front. Let's pull to the right-hand side, because I think Gasly's looking for a move as well. Got to be careful. Let's hunt down Magnussen, though. Let's try and get past him. To third place now, making good progress. So far, the soft tyres are not overheating and they're holding on quite nicely, which is I'm very impressed with.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Confirmed.
There we go, the team recommending the mediums. Like I said, I wasn't convinced about the hard tyre. I think a medium is possible, so we are going to try and stretch that, I think, based off of the team's feedback.
Information on Vettel, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Doesn't concern us too much. Sebastian's behind us, so we'll focus on our race. I'm trying to get back within Magnussen's DRS, because otherwise we're under threat from Russell getting back past. So I'm trying to turn the engine up here. We are within a second, so we've done a good job. I think we're going to get DRS on Magnussen. No bollards anymore. I think Russell might have taken it down on the last lap, but we have got ourselves within DRS, which is good. That takes the pressure off from behind a bit, and we're going to set a personal best. 28.1, there we go. Let's just stay in front of Russell on the straight, who's trying to get back past me here. And there we go, job done. The pace is very similar. I think I might have just dropped out of DRS range though. Magnussen's got a strong pace, and he's actually matching, if not going quicker than Verstappen at the minute. I have dropped out of DRS range. Russell, though, has stayed within DRS range, so we might have to start defending here. I want to get a good run, nice clean run and good exit through here, just to stay in front of Russell while we can. That AI tends to traction up quite nicely through that final corner, where that bump is. But we are going to have enough of a gap to, I think, stay in front of Russell here, but I've got to try and get back within range of Magnussen, who's pulling away a bit here. Oh, Danica Fiat out of the race. Will that trigger a VSC or safety car? Seems like it's not. So we continue on our way as normal. Russell's got a lot of pace. He's got his engine turned up as well. He's really gaining on me on the straights, and I'm at full power. He's looking for a move. Contact. I've locked up as a consequence. He might have lost an end plate, I'm not quite sure. Oh, that's a horrible exit. No traction at all. Here we go, we're going to lose places, unfortunately for us. Gasly's going to get through as well, I think, unless we box him in, possibly. There's more contact, we're still there though, but Gasly's giving me no room at all. Not sure what Gasly's doing there, but we've lost out massively.
Virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
Right, well, I've got wing damage, which is fantastic. So thanks to Gasly there, I'm not quite sure now what to do. I've got to try and lose more of my wing because I'm not going to get served. So I've got to try and lose some more so I can get a front wing change.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
I'm going to pit for hards this lap because I need to get a front wing replacement. I've got too much understeer. I've got to try and clip one of these bollards and lose the front wing. Let's see what I can do. Oh, here we go. Hasn't worked out. Giovinazzi's passed me illegally. Fair enough. I guess nothing's going to happen.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags. Damage to your wing. Damage to your wing. Suggest we box to change it. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Got that, confirmed.
Right, we're going to box in. One of the weirdest things I've ever had to do, but we're going to pit in. The AI just so erratic around here, but we should still be in contention for P6. Into the pit lane we go. Let's just get it all slowed down, not speed. We'll get a front wing change, of course, and we're going to go to the hard tyres, so we are going to be at disadvantage. I'm expecting the top 5 to go for medium, so we are going to be at disadvantage for the rest of the race, really. Hopefully I can just rejoin in clean air and push on the hards. We're going to lose so much time here, though.
Go, go, go.
Wow, 6.8. Long stop. I've got to really push here. I need some strong laps. I've got about 2 laps before the AI pit.
Look after the these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
I need a strong stint, so let's push on here. But just for clarification, if anyone was doubting, the reason I had to brake my front wing some more is because the front wing doesn't get fixed when you have light green or yellow damage. They leave it untouched, and that's going to give you chronic understeer for the rest of the race, so you have to brake your front wing somehow. Oh, yellow flag. Bottas retires, or Hamilton, sorry. Hamilton right in front of us there.
Green flag.
No smoke, it seemed like an electrical issue. So that's a position for free. But it seems like there's no safety car VSC from that, so we continue on our way. We've got a couple of cars in the pit lane, including my teammate Giovinazzi, but he's rejoined well in front of us, of course, because of the front wing change, so we need to make up for lost time. We need to really push now, up to 14th. We need to at least secure that that 5th place, I think it was, or 6th place, whatever position we was in before the pit stop. Okay, we're flying up to the back of Norris here. I think he's got wing damage or something, because he's running quite wide at every single corner. And if he hasn't, then that has is horrible. I can see damage on his front right part of his front wing. Up to the hairpin we go. That was close, but we're going to hopefully get past him. Good exit. Let's try and turn the engine up. Let's get past him here into Spoon. Or not. Seems like we're struggling for straight line speed. Yep, not going to happen. We're struggling too much straight line speed. He's missing both parts of his front wing, so let's try and get past. Come on, losing too much time here already. Come on, Williams. Power, power, power. Let's go. On the inside. We're still struggling to pull alongside him here, but we're going to go down the inside and make it an easy one. Up to 13th. Lost a bit of time there, so not ideal. We've got to keep pushing. More cars in the pit lane though. Let's see how many places we make up. It's going to be quite a few by the look of it. There's Leclerc. Is that Leclerc? Yes, it is. So we've lost a place to Leclerc as well in the Ferrari. So if we get past... Oh my god, that was so close. Whoa, he got on the brakes there. That caught me out. If I can just get past Leclerc, we'll be back in P6, I believe, a net P6. But he has medium tyres on, which is not going to help us. Struggling to match Leclerc's pace here. That medium tyre is quick. Also, look who's behind us. Sergio Perez. We're going to get promoted to 7th place thanks to Stroll pitting, but everyone's boxed in now, so everyone's done their pit stops, and we're way down the order. Now, what I would really need in this race is a safety car, but we know that's never going to happen, so I'm praying for a miracle now, really. If I can pass Leclerc, I'll be happy, because I'm going to struggle too, I think. I've dropped out of DRS, I can't keep up. Haven't got the pace. I'm a second off the race pace. Gasly is on a purple lap with a 27.5. And Perez behind me is absolutely flying. I just don't have the pace on these. I was struggling for pace as it was on the same tyre. This game over. Perez is in the back of me. I've got no pace at all. I can't respond. I'm on the limit as it is. Perez is going to walk past. Well, I mean, he was going to, but he can't decide a line. But Perez is going to walk past anyway. There's no point of me turning the engine up because I just can't compete with the Racing Point's power. He goes around the outside. I'm going to run it deep on the brakes to keep him behind for a bit longer. Somehow I got DRS from that, which I will absolutely take. But then McLaren behind is also catching up as well, so it could be P9 for us in this race. Not enjoying this one at all. Such a frustrating race. Here comes Perez. This should be a pretty easy one for him. He's got DRS. And there you go. Walks past, very easy move. He runs a bit wide though. But we're never going to compete, unfortunately. Too quick. That car's just a beast around here. Combine that with medium tyres. And Perez's strong AI as an individual driver. It's game over. And Sainz is catching me as well. Oh.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They are out of the race.
See, I'd love a safety car, I really would. But it's not going to happen. I could pit in for soft tyres. And it could be a different race. Perez fastest lap, 27.5. We're 1.5 seconds off of that. That's the true pace we have. And Giovinazzi is getting caught up here by Leclerc and Perez. He's on hard tyres as well. It's going to be a bad day for both of us. And this could be a hammer blow in the Constructors' Championship with Verstappen and Russell in first and third place respectively. It could be the end of our Constructors' Championship challenge. Here's Sainz then, he's on the back of us. He's got a lot of pace. He's got a lot of straight line speed as well. He's going to go down the inside of 130. This could end nastily. We're going to hold it on the outside, side by side, into the brake zone. Oh, lock up. There's contact. We just survived getting spun round, but we've lost the position. I do have DRS. I pressed the wrong button.
Yellow flag.
Oh, yellow flag.
Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens. Okay, copy that.
It was Perez, so I'm guessing he might have had some contact into turn 1. But we've lost the place to Sainz. I've got no speed at all in this car, on these tyres. I've just completely lost my rhythm since the contact with Gasly. I've just lost my flow.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
One of them races. I just want it to end now, I really do. I'm sick of this race. I want to move on. And I'm worried because we're going to lose a massive amount of points in the championship. And the races coming up, they're not my strength.
Started to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
The races coming up don't suit me. You know, USA I've always been awful. Mexico I'm okay, and then Brazil I'm awful. Abu Dhabi I'm especially awful, so I'm not confident. And the upgrades take 2, 3, 4 weeks to arrive as well. I needed this race to be good. Wow, 26.7 from Verstappen. On the last lap, he's 3 seconds a lap quicker than me. This has been one of the worst races I think I've ever had. I've not enjoyed this one bit. From lap 9 onwards, it's been horrible. And we're going to come through for a horrible 9th place. And I think we're going to look back at this one as the race that I might have just given Verstappen the championship. I'm so angry. I'm furious over the Gasly incident. I don't know how he turns in on me like that. And, you know, the fact this game is broken and you can't get a yellow front wing change as well, it's just horrible. What a horrible race, honestly.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Right, so here we have the final race results. Verstappen picks up 26 massive World Championship points. He outscores me by 24 as a whole here today. Magnussen second, Russell third. And it's a double blow in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship here. Gasly P4, Leclerc P5. Giovinazzi can only manage 6th place. He also got hurt quite badly by the hard tyre in the second stint. Perez P7, Sainz in 8th, and then we come home in P9 with Stroll rounding out the final points. And in terms of results outside the top 10, the usual contenders with Kvyat and Hulkenberg retiring from the Grand Prix. But in terms of the standings, yeah, the gap is still bigger than I thought. 21 points. So it's looking okay. I think if Verstappen won every race and I came second and I lost 7 points per race, or 8 points per race, I could afford to have 3 bad races, really. But even then, I'm not confident at the minute. Magnussen up to 4th place, Giovinazzi up to 11th. But yeah, overall, I am worried now. The Constructors' Championship, you can see we're down to 5th, down to 3rd with 55 points of a gap now to Red Bull, and that is a bit too much of a massive decline. I think that championship has now been blown today after a really poor result and a really strong one for Red Bull. But guys, that is it for the race here at Japan. and let's just move on, because I'm furious. So we're going to move into the laptop, and we're going to put some upgrades on for the next final races. Right, so here we are then on the R&D tree, and it's time to do some upgrades. Now we've got 2,700 points to spend, and we're going to continue to invest in the engine. Now we've unlocked all 3 of these kind of upgrade trees, if you will, in terms of improvements. And looking at the options, I want to see if I can just afford to get 2 major engine upgrades. So if I purchase the first one, will we have enough? Yes, we do. So we can get 2 major engine upgrades onto the car, both of them for power upgrade, and it's going to arrive at Brazil. So we've got to try and get through the next 2 races before we have a massive engine improvement going into the last couple of races. But guys, that is going to be it for this video here today and this episode of Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me, and also finally check out the YouTube videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.